We are not a respecter of men. We are a respecter of law. I believe that was George Washington. And once again, if that goes away, what is left of our country? Here's Michelle Malkin. She's a syndicated columnist, and Jonah Goldberg, author of the book Liberal Fascism. Jonah, let me start with you. I want to play this sound from Carolyn Maloney. It rhymes with baloney, and she was on Greta last night. Watch this.
This week, I believe Congress will act to recoup that money.
How? 100% tax on it? How can you do that?
You can pass legislation that's the law.
Retroactively? You're going to go back and seize it retroactively after it's been paid out?
I think you can do that. We're looking at it. We're looking at it. We're going to try to do it. I think we can do it.
Jonah, retroactive. Retroactive. They could just go back and just take that money.
Yeah, I mean, why not just pass a law saying there should have never been a financial crisis? I mean, first of all, it is unconstitutional to create a bill of attainder where you signal out individual people, retroactively or not, for punishment. You can't do it. Carolyn Maloney doesn't seem to know the Constitution very well. But that really shouldn't be surprising to anybody either. Right.
Well, Baloney is her last name. I'm sorry, Maloney is her last name. Michelle, this is, and I think this is why Barack Obama is on Jay Leno tomorrow. That's the first time a president has ever done that. He knows they've got to get massively populist here because things are starting to shake apart. I mean, I don't know if you saw the Drudge Report today, but there's all kinds of story there on the Democrats are starting to back away from him. People are starting to get angry. These Tea Parties are starting to really take off. I mean, and I think what these guys are doing in Washington is whipping up mob rule. True or false?
Absolutely. Anybody who watched the horror that was the AIG hearing this morning saw the mob rule fomenting. And you had Barney Frank and Gary Ackerman, Stephen Lynch, who is appropriately named, going after Edward Liddy and the employees of AIG, searching for names of the executives and their families for accepting these bonuses that had been in place for more than a year and for which Timothy Geithner had been given ample heads up on. If you heard Edward Liddy talk about the death threats that those families received, and look, I abhor those bailouts as much as anybody else, but to have these death threats leveled against these executives and their families. I believe that Edward Liddy specifically referenced piano wire being wrapped around the throats of these families. And for Barney Frank, Glenn, to simply sit there and shrug his shoulders and say, I'm not persuaded. This truly
Michelle,
is an outrage.
Why would they be persuaded? One of them said yesterday they thought that they should commit suicide, for the love of Pete. You know, you tell me, Jonah, you tell me. You've seen what happened in the Wilson administration. You've seen what happened in the FDR. This is the same kind of stuff, except I contend much, much worse. Here they are demonizing people. Who the hell are going to run these companies? Would you go take one of these jobs?
The only place I disagree with you is I do think it could get a lot worse.
No. I'm saying this is exactly the same kind of stuff that they did last time. They did this under
it's the beginning of it. I think you're right. I watched Gary Ackerman, the chairman of the committee, on Neil Cavuto while I was waiting to come on in here, and he said, look, you know, these death threats and the threat of violence, that's bad, but all they have to do is give the money back, and then we won't release their names to the public.
Oh, that's
It's
so
basically
now our government's into extortion.
That's the sound of it. And look, the real, I mean, there's so many scandals here, it's very hard to pick. It's a pinata. You can bash it from any angle, and reward will come out. But the fundamental thing is, and I think I'm on the same page as Michelle on this, the AIG bailout in and of itself is an attempt at political money laundering. While we're concentrating on this thing that the Democrats already knew about, which is these bonuses. They knew about these bonuses a long time ago. In the meantime, they're focusing all the anger there, while AIG, it turns out, is a money laundering operation to bail out places like Goldman Sachs.
Look, Michelle, do you have the figures? I know Barack Obama got about $101,000 to his campaign from AIG executives.
That's right.
The biggest recipient was Chris Dodd. I mean, here these people are taking money and running it through their campaign. They have no problem. Then Chris Dodd takes the money, then writes this law in and says, hey, you can't touch any of these bonuses, any contracts, they all apply. Then when his numbers start to tank, he goes after them because he wants his power and his money.
Yes, that's right. Talk about unconscionable bonuses for rewarding failure. Every one of those AIG campaign donations to these politicians who helped create the problem constitutes an unconscionable bonus for rewarding failure. I call this entire farce and spectacle the kabuki theater of AIG outrage, and that's what we're seeing, this highly stylized performance of hypocritical indignation.
Oh, yeah.
And guess what? Your audience and this Fox audience and our readers and Jonah's readers know that this is as transparent as Scotch tape. This fake fury is disgusting, and people are not going to stand for it.
Michelle, here's the thing. If I read one more person say that I'm just a populist, blah, 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 I mean it. You mean it. I think every American watching this means it. These people in Washington have proven time and time again they're outraged by earmarks unless it's their earmark. They're outraged by spending unless it's their spending. They're playing a game and they're destroying our country. And I think there's a lot of us who would really like that nonsense to stop. It's our country, not theirs.
It's also worth remembering that we just saw on the wires today that Fannie Mae is going to get millions of dollars in bonuses for their employees.
Oh, geez, but who's been responsible for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac? Geez, that's Barney Frank. That's Barney Frank.
I don't know. I don't know who deserves those bonuses at Fannie Mae and who doesn't.
You know what?
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are more at the heart of this disaster than anybody else. And you don't hear Barney Frank, who is their lord and protector all these years, saying word one about it.
Nope, you sure don't.
It's all the politics of distraction.
I wonder why. You wait until tomorrow's program. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Listen, you know, you want some honor? You know, Chuck Grassley says, I think these people should commit suicide. My gosh, I can't believe we're at this point. You want some honor? These people in Washington, you want some credibility, guys? Give up your salary. Give up your salary. You are the people that created this. Work for the American people for free. Get off these big, lush retirement packages. Give up your health care. Why don't you try to go out and get it in the private sector like the rest of us do?